Success at the Indianapolis 500 is achieved through speed. Each race team must work together to make their car faster than the others. And while the cars may look the same, there are many different adjustments available to the teams to squeeze every last bit of speed out of their cars. This process of making adjustments is called testing. Testing is a slow, methodical process that involves making slight adjustments and recording their effects against past performance. It's important to remember that even small adjustments affect speed, and that a speed difference as large as 1/2 mile per hour is only 1/10 of a second per lap around the 2.5 mile speedway. That's quicker than the blink of an eye. For every adjustment made to a race car, there is a measurable reaction with respect to speed. However, not every adjustment is successful. You are equally likely to make the car go slower as you are to make it faster. That's why it's important to keep detailed notes as to what the adjustments are and how those adjustments influence performance. If that isn't complicated enough, consider this. A car reacts differently according to weather. Race teams must take into account all the possible weather conditions that can be present in Indianapolis during the month of May. And while the cars do not run in the rain, the sun, clouds, wind, heat, and cold all have an effect on a car's performance. In order to be successful, each team has to determine what is the best setup for their car with regard to that day's weather. Other important factors include fuel and tires. A car reacts differently when it's full of fuel than it does when it's almost empty. And new tires are different than worn tires. A car that runs great with a full load of fuel and new tires may not be very good with less fuel and old tires. A successful team needs to balance their car to maximize speed over the course of a tank of fuel and a set of tires. Safety innovation has been a byproduct of testing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway since the very beginning. It's believed that the very first rear-view mirror ever used on an automobile was on the Marmon Wasp, driven by Ray Haroon when he won the first 500 in 1911. In 1935, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway became the first racetrack to install a warning light system, and the first to make the use of helmets mandatory for drivers. Fire-resistant uniforms were required to be worn by all drivers in 1959. The Safer Barrier, short for Steel and Foam Energy Reduction Barrier, is the latest safety innovation developed by the Speedway. The Safer Barrier was installed in all 4 turns in 2002 and acts as a buffer to cushion the cars when they impact the outside walls.
Hi guys, I'm IndyCar driver Zach Veach, driver of the number 26 Group 1001 Honda for Andretti Autosport. And I'm here today to kind of give you a little insight on the safety that we have when we're around the racetrack. The main thing that we're concerned about is fire, and making sure drivers don't get burnt is a key item. So we wear what we call as fire suits, but underneath the suit itself, we actually wear these pajamas. So these are what we call underwear. We have a long sleeve shirt that covers our top half. We have long pants that cover our legs. We even have little fireproof socks to keep our feet from getting burnt when they're in the car. We put all of this bottom layer on first, then we go to the part that was always my favorite as a little kid, is the actual fireproof suit. So when we put all of this on, we can be in a flame, so we can be on fire for about 7 seconds before it starts to burn our skin. One cool aspect is always the gloves. We wear these every time that we leave pit lane. These are fireproof as well. They protect our hands. Another item that's really important, much like you guys wear to school every single day, is our shoes. These are fireproof as well and match perfectly to our feet, because what we use these for is for the gas pedal and the brake, much like a go-kart if you've ever been in one. But going at speeds of 230 miles an hour, we're talking about small movements on the gas pedal and small movements on the brakes. So the bottoms of them aren't very thin, so we can feel every piece of the pedal and know exactly where it's at. And we have Velcro straps to make sure the laces don't come loose when we're in the race car, because that could be a mess. So when we're not worried about fire, the next thing is we're worried about, trauma to the head. That's why we have these awesome helmets that can withstand a lot of force. Then you have a Hans device. The Hans device basically means head and neck support. The Hans device connects actually to the helmet, and the Hans device keeps our head from moving forward if we're ever in an impact. So we just have these little straps that actually bolt on to the helmet on each side, and then the seat belts go over the side pieces that are on my shoulders. So when this is attached to your helmet on top of your shoulders, you can hit a wall at 200 miles an hour and not be worried about your neck or anything else, which is really comforting for our moms at home. While we're on track, we're out there for anywhere between 2 to 3 hours. We have to come into the pits 2 to 7 times to get tires, to get fuel. So my crew has to communicate with me while I'm out there each and every lap. So one thing that we have that allows that is our earbuds. So these are actually molded to our ears. They inject the silicone into your ear, it hardens, and then it fits perfectly inside your ear. So this lets the crew talk to me when I'm on track, and then I have a microphone inside my helmet that lets me talk back to them. What's most important as well is we have all of this gear on that's valued at upwards of about $5,000 to $7,000, but we have to sit in something that's safe as well. So inside the race car, we have what they call a bead seat. So this is basically what I'm sitting in for 500 miles around Indianapolis. As you see, it's not a very big seat, but it's molded to my body. So much like a beanbag chair, we sit down in one of these, they pour glue into it, they push it around our body so it matches us perfectly, and then it hardens. So everybody's race car, from all the drivers in the Indy 500, everybody's seat fits perfectly to them, and everybody's car is designed just for them as well. So these are just small technology advancements that we have that keeps drivers safe, and we trust every day that we're on the racetrack.
Here they come, up through the gears. Eyes on the starter. We're green.
Green flag.
During the race, other flags will be shown that mean different things to the drivers and race teams. The red flag tells all the drivers they need to come into the pits because the track is not safe due to a wreck or bad weather. If the starter waves the black flag, then just that driver has to come into the pits. Either a rule has been broken or there is damage to the race car causing unsafe conditions on the track. When a driver sees the blue flag, that means that a faster car is quickly approaching and the driver needs to watch out from behind. The yellow flag is a caution flag, meant for all the drivers to slow down due to a hazard on the track.
Turn through, yellow.
Caution on the course here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
The white flag means one more lap to go. And then I think you all know what the checkered flag means.
Checkered flag is in the air, and the 101st Indianapolis 500 is won by Takuma Sato.
These are just a few of the safety innovations that are part of the history that is the Indianapolis 500.